If you're a Shopify store making up to 100K a year, what apps should you get? I'd recommend you stay as lean as possible. The more apps you add, the more extra costs you add, and the higher the chance that you're going to add something that breaks your site. On the other hand, choosing the right apps can really save you time on technical tasks that are, important. For example, sending a shopping feed to Google so that you can do Google shopping ads. It's important, it makes money, right? So, what are the essential apps that I use on my websites, Binky Barker and LiveTropics? For new businesses, it's a real challenge getting new customers. Right? Nobody knows your brand. And one of the best channels for getting new customers is Google shopping ads. And the reason for this is it's very bottom of funnel. People are looking, they know exactly what they're looking for. They look up red t-shirt or dog bed, right? And they'll find your website. So Google shopping is a great, highly converting traffic source. However, to get on Google shopping is not exactly straightforward because your Shopify website needs to send your products to Google to tell them, okay, these are my products, these are the prices, these are the descriptions, everything like that. To do this, to set up the feed, you need a Google shopping feed app, and there's quite a few to choose from. I recommend you choose Simprosys. So this is what I use for LiveTropics. It's really simple, and it costs about $6 a month, and it allows me to send my products to the Google Merchant Center and synchronize, all of my prices, my descriptions, images, and everything like that. For the past decade, Facebook and Instagram have been some of the biggest channels used for brands to get new customers. So really being able to unlock Facebook ads and things like this is often a turning point of a lot of brands. And one of the reasons why Facebook ads work so well is that Facebook really knows who your customers are, right? And the way that they can do that is with incredible tracking on your website. So they track everybody on your website, they know what they're like, and they can find other people like those people. So to get started on Facebook ads, what you need to do is you need to install the Facebook tracking pixel on your website so that Facebook can see everybody. To do this, you should use an app, right? And the app I would recommend is the Facebook and Instagram app. It's completely free, and it adds the tracking pixel to your website, and it also allows you to synchronize your products to your Facebook and Instagram shop if you have one of those as well. The more marketplaces you can appear on, like eBay, Amazon, Etsy, the more eyeballs you'll get on your products, right? And we're all about getting more new customers. However, managing lots of marketplaces like eBay and Amazon and Etsy and your website, that's pretty difficult, right? Because, what happens if somebody orders from your website? Do you have to decrease the stock on Amazon? Or what happens if you want to change the price on your website? Do you have to change the price on eBay? Synchronizing all of these details is a bit of a headache. However, with Codisto, you're able to synchronize your products from your website to these marketplaces. And I use this on LiveTropics. I synchronize my product details from my website to eBay. And it's really like a one-click setup. I'm able to sell my products on eBay, which brings in a surprising amount of revenue, and I don't really have to do anything on eBay. So important elements like price, stock levels, product descriptions, all of these things are synchronized from my website to eBay. In the pyramid of e-commerce growth, there's two sides to the equation. There's getting more new customers, and then there's generating more repeat business from those customers. And when it comes to driving more repeat business, one of the best channels and most famous channels is obviously email, right? Email marketing. It's one of the most tried and true channels that exists. You collect subscribers, you send them emails, and they buy stuff, and they buy a second time, they buy a third time, right? It's a great channel. More often than not, most of the profit is generated on these repeat orders, not on that first purchase, but it's normally on the second, third, fourth purchase with your brand, which is why you need a solid channel to really communicate with these existing customers. And for smaller e-commerce stores, I would recommend Klaviyo. It synchronizes with Shopify, one click, right? All of your customers get imported. You can send out newsletters, and you can build simple or complex email journeys that can trigger on different events. For example, if you have a new customer, you can send a thank you event. Thank you, here's Binky Barker, right? Or if they purchase a second time, you can send an email saying, hey, thank you for your second purchase. Maybe you want this. Or you can even do like replenishment journeys, or maybe even, for example, a cross-sell journey. So, hey, I saw you bought the cleanser. Would you be interested in buying the toner? Right? You can set up these triggered automated emails that get sent out. And this is what I've done with LiveTropics and Binky Barker. And when you set up these email flows at the beginning, they end up making lots and lots and lots of money in the long run for you. And remember, repeat orders is where the profit lies. One of the biggest decision-making factors when somebody views your product is whether or not they trust you. And one of the hardest challenges for a small brand is to get enough reviews on your website. So what you need is a solution that can automatically collect reviews from your previous customers. And there are email solutions that actually email your customers automatically, like 30 days after they've placed an order, and they request a review, like, hey, please, would you like to leave some feedback or rate out of 5 stars and leave a description. And some of them, like Okendo, can enable you to ask for an image as well. So you can ask for an image review as well as like written reviews. And this is what I use for Binky Barker. Another example is stamp.io. I use these guys for LiveTropics, but for image reviews, I'm really liking Okendo for Binky Barker, although I've just like recently started using it. If you're like me and you have a tendency to tinker with your website, to try and change pages to see if you can increase your conversion rates and things like this, you probably want to protect your website by backing it up occasionally. And Shopify doesn't provide this, by the way. If you mess up your website, you're going to have to crawl through the code. And I've done this actually sometimes when I've edited the code of my website. I've actually broken my website and I've had to like dive into the code line by line, and correct it so it's worked again. So I would recommend getting a backup solution, and there are a few here. But more recently, I've used automatic backups by Talon. It costs $9 a month, and just the peace of mind alone, is a really good bet. If you're starting out, you may also be printing out your customer shipping labels individually on a website like Royal Mail. As you scale, you're going to want to print out labels in mass. And a solution like Shipstation enables you to see lots of different shipping providers, right? And tick all of the orders and choose which provider you want to send with. For example, Every, Royal Mail, DPD. To do this, I use Shipstation. In the mornings, my team logs in, they see all of the orders, they check them, and then they choose, which shipping provider they want to send it with, and they can print out all of the labels, and it will send out the tracking numbers automatically to these customers. It's super useful, and it saves a lot of time, I find. Shipstation costs about $10 per month, but remember, you will have to pay for the labels. So what do you do if you want to offer multiple languages on your website? This is the problem I had with Binky Barker. We have an English website, but we also have a lot of customers who speak Thai, right? Because we sell in Thailand. So we wanted to be able to offer both languages on the website. How do you get started with this? Well, you need some kind of easy solution of inputting translations. And that's why I started using TLab, right? With TLab, you get an easy graphical wizard where you can simply see the English text and then you add in your translated Thai text right next to it. So it's a very simple way of adding in a second or third language, and it costs about $6.99 per month. So these are my essential apps that I use for my websites. I hope they're useful to you. I think the key things is, staying lean, right? So don't get apps when you don't necessarily need them. The more you add, the more expensive it gets. And even though these costs are, under like $10, a lot of them, they are monthly charges, and these things do add up. And also, in terms of like technical load, I think the more apps you add adds more complexity, and you don't really want that kind of complexity. I think I like to keep things quite lean, with my website. But there are some apps, like I've mentioned, that do really improve, your website. They can improve your ability to get new customers. They can make technical tasks a lot easier. And they can open the doors up to things like marketplaces and new advertising channels and all of that. So if you enjoyed this and you are a marketer looking to grow your brand, feel free to subscribe. I'll be sharing some of my stories from my brands and also some tips and tricks that I've learned over the years of running my e-commerce businesses too.